Good morning, everyone. The company that we decided to choose is Atco. We're a team of four members. It's Jericho, John, Alexi, and myself, Karan. Our agenda. So, this is the list of the topics that we're going to talk about today, and we'll know more about what Atco is, what it does, and how can we relate Atco to our course.
Hi, my name is Alex Simeon. Introduction. What is Atco? Atco Limited is a Canadian company with many subsidiaries. Atco is a huge company that has a labor force of 6,200 employees and $22 billion in assets. It is based in Calgary, Alberta, and was founded by S. Don Southern and Ron Southern in 1947. Chapter 1. What is economics? Economics is the study of scarcity and its implications for the use of resources, production of goods and services, growth of production and welfare over time, and a great variety of other complex issues of vital concern to society. Microeconomics studies the implications of individual human action. The power of trade. ATCO has operations all over the world. They have operated in more than 100 countries around the globe. Apart from delivering natural gas and electricity to communicate throughout Alberta and northern Canada, they also manufacture workforce housing facilities in Chile and develop natural gas-fired power plants in Australia. This means that they have better access between these countries, which will fuel economic growth. Chapter 2. Demand and Supply. Supply is the ability to provide something that someone wants or needs. Things that Atco supplies include electric utilities by Atco Electric, natural gas production and distribution companies by Atco Gas and construction companies, and Atco Structure and Logistics. There is also Atco Frontech, which helps to prepare, establish, and maintain work sites and facilities. Rumi, which helps homeowners answer questions, and Blue Flame Kitchen, which helps people to learn to cook. Based on their experience, Atco also provides infrastructure services such as energy infrastructure, fly ash by Ascor, ports and transportation, and retailer resources. The desire and ability to purchase a product is demand. There are two types of demand, elastic and inelastic. Atco has inelastic demand because they sell gas and electricity, which are necessities for many people and have few substitutes. Inelastic demand means that if there is a change in price, then the change in quantity demanded is small. Atco has elastic demand because of Rumi, which gives answers to homeowners, and Blue Flame Kitchen, which helps people learn to cook. Elastic demand means that the change in quantity demanded is heavily affected by a change in price. Determinants of a change in demand. Atco could be classified as a substitute product when it comes to their electricity and gas services, because people usually look at price or how much companies charge per kilowatt hour to determine whether they want it, because the products are very similar. However, Atco could also be classified as a normal product because of Rumi and Blue Flame Kitchen, as customers are likely to use these services more as their incomes increase.
Hello everyone, my name is Jericho and I will be covering chapter 6. The ideas that I will be explaining are role of the firm, theory of production, division of labor, and law of diminishing returns. The role of the firm. A firm is a business organization that employs and organizes elements of production to sell goods and services. The five distinct types of business organization are sole proprietorship, partnership, corporation, state-owned enterprise, and a non-profit organization. ATCO is considered a firm because of its various services and different jobs based on the different sectors of services it provides, such as ATCO Structure and Logistics, ATCO Gas, ATCO Electric, ATCO Frontech, and etc. This company would be considered a corporation because the owners are personally not liable to the debts and are not personally involved in the company's operations. Theory production. Division of labor is the dividing of the production process into a series of specialized tasks, each done by a different worker. Law of diminishing returns is as more of a variable input is added to a fixed input in the production process, the resulting increase in output will at some point begin to diminish. The short run for Atco is to deliver and provide services and products that are diverse in the many industries of integrated energy, housing, transportation, and infrastructure solutions. They have multiple sectors of jobs that a person can apply to, and therefore the division of labor is vastly different and diverse. This makes the company a particularly good place to consider working for because of its varied products and services to provide the consumers. The other ideas explored in Chapter 6 are implicit and explicit cost. Explicit cost is a cost that is actually paid out in money and usually to non-owners. Implicit cost is the opportunity cost of using the owner's own resources that does not require an actual expenditure of money. The implicit and explicit cost of ATCO are shown below via in the two graphs. The first graph shows the explicit costs of ATCO, and they are salaries, wages and benefits, materials and consumables, depreciation, amortization and impairment, franchise fees, property and other taxes, and etc. The implicit costs of ATCO are shown below in the second graph, and they are earnings of the year and other comprehensive income.
Hi, my name is John, and I'll be covering Chapter 7. And in Chapter 7, we learned that the cost in the long run supply is the supply of goods available when all inputs are variable. It means that in the long run, all property, plant, and equipment expenditure is variable. Furthermore, in the long run, the number of producers in the market is not fixed. Therefore, new firms will enter the market if there are economic profits, and some firms will leave the market if they are experiencing an economic loss. In the long run, there are zero economic profits, meaning the firms will only earn an ordinary profit. It implies that the long run supply curve will always be more elastic than the short run supply curve because in the long run, all firms make zero economic profits. In the short run, demand is more elastic compared to in the long run. There's no defined time period for the long run, and in the short run economics, we understand that as the firms cannot change their fixed factor of production, i.e., capital, but in case of the long run, the firm can change all factors of production. Economies of scale in this is that the firm can change or increase its all input for making changes in the output. In this economies of scale, when with the growth of the firm, the cost per unit also increases. It is less efficient growth for the firm though. In this, the firm cannot increase its output for making changes in the output. Fluctuations in the economy usually happen due to technological shocks or changes in output level or productivity. Technological change affects the decision of a firm related to investment in worker or labor supply. And in this, it leads to a change in output. If a technological change increases productivity, it leads to a high return on investment, and that increases investment, higher output, and higher wages. This will increase the supply of labor in the market. These changes bring a boom in the market. If technological changes result in low productivity, then it reduces the labor supply and results in a bust condition. Hello, my name is John and I'm back again, and in Chapter 8 we learned about perfect competition. And in economic theory, perfect competition occurs when all companies sell identical products. Market share does not influence price. Companies are able to enter or exit without barrier. Buyers have perfect or full information, and companies cannot determine prices. Electric company market is a monopolistic market where there are many competitors available such as Econ and Max that also provide electric utilities, natural gas productions and distribution companies as well as construction companies. Supply curve can be derived by compiling the price to quantity relationship of a seller. A seller could set the price of a good or service equal to zero and then incrementally increase the price. At each price, he could calculate the hypothetical quantity he or she would be willing to supply.
Hello again, my name is Karanjit Singh and I'm going to talk about monopoly. So in a monopoly type of market structure, there is only one seller and that single seller controls the entire market. It can set any price it wishes since it has all the market power. Consumers, they don't have much alternative and must pay the price set by the seller. Monopolies can be extremely undesirable because the customer, they lose all their power and the market forces become irrelevant. However, a pure monopoly is very rare in reality. So now we come to the question, is Atco a monopoly? Well, there are some companies that provide the same services as Atco, such as Epcor, Nmax, NV5 Global, Shawcor, Direct Energy, etc., globally as well as domestically. So yes, Atco does have competition and therefore cannot be called a monopoly. But it doesn't mean that they're not ahead of the competition. The physical power grid in Alberta, which has a network of transmission lines that is more than 21,000 kilometers, and it transports electric power. Out of that 21,000, 9,000 kilometers of transmission lines are owned by Atco, and out of 165,000 kilometers of distribution lines, 35% is owned by Atco Electric. This is one of the facts that goes in the favor of Atco that makes them one of the largest energy providers in Canada. When you talk about competition, the major competitor of Atco in Alberta is Nmax because they both provide the same services and operate in the same provinces. So, what is the difference? One of the differences they have is that Nmax's rates are a few dollars less than Atco, but still, Atco has a customer base of 1.1 million in Alberta, and Nmax serves around 690,000 customers. So, what is it about the company that sets it so far ahead with the consumers? The answer to that question is familiarity. Now, Insights West report showed that consumers do have significantly less familiarity with energy providers than with other Alberta companies. Atco, along with Shell, Imperial, Husky, were shown to be most familiar to Albertans. Atco had the highest familiarity rating of 82%, while others ranged from 70 to 75%. So we have concluded that Atco is not a monopoly, but that doesn't mean they don't have services that make them unique. So what does make Atco unique? Well, there are two things. First, it's temporary power. Now, Atco Power can deploy mobile on-site energy generation facilities for operations in remote areas where access to the power grid is unavailable, such as construction camps with frequently shifting drill sites. The second is permanent power for businesses whose bases of operation don't change location but require on-site power or steam generation services. Offer long-term campsites serving remote developments. These are two of the things that Atco does and that makes them unique.
Hello everyone, my name is Jericho and I will be covering Chapter 11, Imperfect Competitions. Imperfect competitions is a market structure in which producers are identifiable and have some control over price. The two forms of it are called monopolistic competition and oligopoly. Atco would be put into the category of monopolistic competition because of the services that it provides and because some of those services provided is dependent on varied prices and various competitive companies like Enmass. Product differentiation is an attempt to distinguish a firm's products from those of its competitors. The product differentiation of Atco is the diverse services and products it provides, such as Atco Structure and Logistics, Atco Gas, Atco Electric, Atco Frontech, and Atco Energy, and etc. These are just the many few services that Atco provide, and they offer many more, which makes their product differentiation extremely high. The difference between the two types of imperfect competition. The two types of imperfect competition are as follows: monopolistic competition and oligopoly. Monopolistic competition is a market in which many firms sell at a differentiated product and have some control over its price, while an oligopoly is a market that is dominated by a few large firms. Atco is only considered a monopoly in the distribution of natural gas in our regions. The four characteristics of a monopolistic competition are: many firms are acting independently, freedom of entry, products are differentiated, and each firm has some control over the price.
Conclusion. So after researching about Atco, we see how they use their profits to create more plant and increase productivity of their services. We also talked about the kind of competition Atco has, who are their competitors. We talked about NMAX being their major competitor and what are the differences between them, what makes them unique, and how they stay ahead of NMAX. Now, all this contributes to them being a global success. But along with this, we also explored some ideas that ATCO has, and if they can continue to stay on this trajectory, they can be even more successful. So that is it. That is the end of our presentation. Thank you everyone for being here, and please feel free to ask any questions. Thank you.